This material is part of our course Microeconomics. You can find more at professorpro.net. The current video belongs to Unit 1, Demand and Supply, and covers the class Shifts in Demand. The objective of this class is to address and answer the following questions. What can cause a shift in demand? Is a change in demand the same as a change in quantity demanded? Will consumers acquire a different amount of the product? And will consumers pay a different price? Let's start with the basics. Remember that the demand curve shows the correlation between price and quantity demanded of a product. As such, a change in price usually leads to a change in quantity demanded. We call this a movement along the demand curve. Let's go back to our orange juice example. Remember that when the price of this product is $2 per unit, I want to buy 6 units of it per week. I want to buy this amount because of the satisfaction it gives me and because it is within my budget. At a constant price, if either my satisfaction or my financial capacity to acquire the product changes, the whole demand curve shifts. If, for example, my satisfaction decreases, I still have the financial capacity to buy as much as before, but I just won't want to. I will thus want to buy less orange juice if the price stays the same. The same could happen if my financial capacity to buy orange juice were reduced, perhaps because of a reduction in my working hours. In this case, I may want to buy as much as before, but I cannot afford to do so. I will thus be forced to buy less if the price stays the same. A shift in demand can be defined in the following 2 ways. First, a shift in demand is a change in desired consumption or quantity demanded when price stays the same. Or second, a shift in demand is a change in willingness to pay, or the maximum price consumers will pay when quantity demanded stays the same. We focus on the first definition for these videos. A number of factors can lead to a shift in demand, such as a change in the general satisfaction of consuming the product, income of consumers, the price and preferences for related products, and expectations related to this product, amongst other things. What is true for one individual is also applicable to the whole market. A general decrease in satisfaction or financial capacity will lead to a decrease in the market's demand for that product. Note that not every single consumer will necessarily decrease their demand. For those that do, they will likely not decrease their demand by the same amounts. However, the total market demand will decrease. Similarly, a general increase in satisfaction or financial capacity will lead to an increase in the market's demand for that product. Now, let's see how these concepts can be represented in graphs. We can see the difference between a movement along the demand curve and a shift of it when using the demand schedule. Remember that moving from row to row on the table shows a movement along the curve. If an economic event were to reduce the satisfaction I receive from a product, or reduce my financial capacity to buy it, I may now have the following schedule. Keep in mind that my quantity demanded has changed for all the prices shown here, except for $4 because quantity demanded cannot be negative. This is known as a decrease in demand. We can show the shift by first drawing the initial demand curve with quantity demanded before the change. We can then draw the new points on the graph and link them together to find the new demand curve. Note that a shift of the demand curve to the left is called a decrease in demand. An increase in demand would arise if an economic event were to increase the satisfaction I received from buying the product, or increase my financial capacity to buy it. This may lead to the following schedule. Again, keep in mind that my quantity demanded has changed for all the prices shown here. We can again show the shift by first drawing the initial demand curve. We then draw the new points and link them to find the new curve. Note that a shift of the demand curve to the right is called an increase in demand. Remember that we are describing consumers' desire to acquire a product. We are not necessarily describing their actual purchase. In the next unit, we will see that consumers might want to purchase a product without being able to do so. Furthermore, a shift in demand will not necessarily lead to a change in the price of the product. Changes in price depend on both the demand and supply of that product. To conclude, let's review the questions that this class set out to answer. In this class, we saw that a shift in demand will arise if there is a change in quantity demanded caused by a factor other than a change in price of that product. A change in demand is shown by a shift of the whole demand curve, while a change in quantity demanded is shown by a change of one point of the curve. When there is a change in demand, consumers may or may not acquire a different amount of the product. The actual purchase depends on both the demand and supply of that product. Similarly, a change in demand may or may not lead to consumers paying a different price for a product. The actual price depends on both the demand and supply of that product. If you found this video helpful and want to see more, you can find the following examples. Thank you.